Good morning. This is Steve Carr at the Agripreneurship Alliance, and I'm joined, as always, by Dr. Anne Roulin. And today we will be talking about the Entrepreneurship and Agribusiness course, but particularly about the module on marketing plan. And obviously, a marketing plan is a really important part of the course because this is how you actually share the information that you have about your product or services to the potential customers that you have already identified earlier in the course. So we'll be talking for about 45 minutes, and then we'll be doing a short question and answer session. And unfortunately, I should say at the very beginning that we had expected one of our colleagues, Innocent Chamiza, to join us today to do an input on the use of social media. But unfortunately, due to family circumstances, he cannot join us today. So instead, we're going to be using a short video about social marketing that we've found. I'll be honest with you, there may be a few problems in linking the screen to that, so please be patient. But we thought it would be useful to share some other organizations' views about how to approach marketing, particularly through social media at this moment in time due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, what we're specifically going to do is, as always, is go through the module content so that you are fully aware of exactly what you need to be doing to complete the course module on marketing, the tools that will be available for your use. And please remember that every time you use a tool, that you complete an activity, this is building up the information that you need for your final business plan. And this is a business plan that you'll have the opportunity to present to the Agripreneurship Alliance. And we'll go through every one that we receive and provide feedback on those. And I'll talk a little more about that before the end of today's session. But next week, we'll be talking much more about submission dates and when and how the review process will happen and what our expectations are of the business plans that are presented to us. As always, we also have a short video from one of the course graduates that we've previously worked with. And Rita is a really enthusiastic person from Uganda that we've known for about 3 years or so. And Rita is involved in a whole range of activities, but her core focus in her business is the production of high quality pork meat, which is sold to both pork shops, but also to high-end restaurants and hotels in the area as well. And as always, as I've already said, we'll be finishing with a short question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So I hope that sounds really good. I'm going to move on quickly this morning, and I'm going to share with you the idea that where we are in the course program at the moment. As you can see, module 3.2, make a plan, marketing plan. We're coming through to halfway through the course, which is really exciting. And what we would hope that you do is that by the 30th of September, you will have your business plans ready for submission to us so that we can then provide you with some high quality feedback. There's a lot of work to do between now and then. It's really important that you take the time to complete the tools and activities properly, that you invest in your time to actually identify the local needs in your identified markets, that you explore your marketing plan and how you will get your messages out into your communities. And then from next week, we will be looking in detail about the financial structures and models that you need to enable you to talk to investors and financiers, but also to look at how finance constrains the way that your business operates and the opportunities and challenges that lie within the financial models. So we work forward together. The last webinar will be on September the 9th, putting it all together. And then we will be expecting your business plans by the end of September. So it's all very exciting, starting to work towards that crescendo, and we're really pleased that everybody is engaging so actively on the AMI platform. So just to be clear about what we're expecting from this module, as I say, this is about marketing plans, and you will already be engaging in using the course structure on the AMI platform to actually start working towards the idea of identifying your business and what it is, what is your value proposition, what is your models of operation, and today we're looking at marketing. So the module today is focused on some of the tools that are available in the course, positioning strategies, using a market research and segmentation templates, which is a document that you will already have started using in an earlier seminar. That we'll be looking at marketing plans. Lesson summaries, as always, are available on the AMI platform. There's always, as you know, a video identifying what is the expectation of this module, and we will make sure that that video is also available as an audio-only download in case you have difficulty streaming or downloading a video file. And then there's still that focus on our original Trident Fish Farm case study. That's enough from me for the moment. What I want to do is show you a short video. This is going to last about 8 minutes. It's something that we found on the internet when we were Google searching something to show you in replacement for our colleague Innocent. And this is a really interesting short video about digital marketing in Africa. And it's a perspective drawn from a company's experience in Zimbabwe. So I just need to stop sharing my screen so that I can then come to the video. Sorry about this, everybody. I knew this would be a little tricky. I'm going to share my screen again. And I hope that you enjoy this short video, as I say, from Afro Digital in Zimbabwe.
Okay. Hello, I've had many conversations with people who feel and think that digital marketing doesn't work in Africa and at least in Zimbabwe. They've got supporting statistics and they think that digital marketing is the future. But I just want to share with you quickly the relevance of digital marketing in Zimbabwe. And this could be used also for many other African countries where people have this idea that most people are not online and maybe digital marketing is not going to work because the masses of the people are offline. So I just want to discuss with you the benefits, why you should do it. The first thing is that you're able to reach international markets easily. African countries always complain about foreign currency and how they don't have enough of it. The main question then becomes is that how are they normally generating foreign currency? I'm sure they sell maybe mining products and agricultural products and stuff like that. And there's a lot more that could be sold online, which businesses are not able to sell because they say that they don't have access to the international market. Now, with digital marketing, it is possible for your business to set a campaign that targets the international market. For example, you may be in Zimbabwe and you can target people in the UK with adverts and showing them the things that you have, and they are able to see the things from the content that you post, and they're able to show their interest and actually engage. So digital marketing gives you the capacity to reach international markets. That's the first one. And I would want to say that I run an agency called Camlock digital marketing in Zimbabwe. Part of our main market at this point is that we sell website development services and digital marketing services to companies that are in the US and companies that are in the UK. So it's possible to sell and expose yourself to the international market and start generating business from there. That's the first advantage of digital marketing. The second one is that you are able to measure your return on investment on marketing expenditure. A lot of marketers like hiding behind awareness. They'll put up expensive billboards, they'll put up expensive newspaper ads and a lot of campaigns, roadshows and things like that. Those things are fantastic, they are good, they are effective, and they actually work. The only problem is that as the owner of the business, it's difficult to tell how much you got from the campaign. With digital marketing, you are able to see how much you spent on one particular customer. I'll use Google Ads as an example. In Google Ads, you're able to measure how much you've spent on and how many people you've seen who have seen your advert and how many people have been converted into customers on this campaign over a period. Of course, there will be more people who would have seen the advert and responded and things like that, but you're able at least to see whether the campaign is working financially or not in terms of the money you've put and the money that you're getting out of it. So that's the second advantage. The third thing is that you are able to compete effectively locally and regionally. What this means is that if you launch your digital marketing campaigns properly, you do your digital marketing campaigns properly, you're able to be locally very competitive and also be internationally very competitive. People can feel the competition. People can feel the pressure when you do it right. So that's one of the advantages. And this can be done normally at quite very reasonable prices compared to the offline marketing techniques. Number 4 is that you are able to export consultancy and service businesses. This is one of my best opportunities. I think that one of the best opportunities that I think Africa has. We have a lot of intellectuals, we have a lot of people who know how to do things, and people are also struggling to get jobs locally. So one of the advantages of being digitally marketed as yourself or as a business is that if you're a service business or you have a skill or you're a consultant, you are able to export your service and your skills to the international market. If normally in the offline market, if people know that you are a lawyer, they just have to walk to your office and ask you questions and you help them through their court cases and that's it. But if you are digitally marketed as a lawyer, you may get consultation questions from people who are far and you're able to consult using the technical means of communication and still offer the service and get paid. The next one is that digital marketing increases entrepreneur success. One of the challenges of entrepreneurs is that they create exciting things, but sometimes people around them are not excited about their creation, and this sometimes causes them not to get investors, not to get the people who can give them a hand that to help them to move the next stage. So if an entrepreneur, one of your best bets is to make yourself internationally visible using digital marketing, and sometimes you get somebody who is far in another country who sees the opportunity with what you are doing, and then with that they may take it to the next level. And also entrepreneurs, those who are maybe doing buying and selling, one of the main things that they are struggling to become visible. So they cannot be seen in the local market because they are giants who have billboards, we have so many things, and they are almost in monopolies in every industry. But if you're an entrepreneur, you're smart with digital marketing, with very little budget, you can get into the market, get access to them and be able to start your thing and sustain your business in a very good way using digital marketing techniques. So if an entrepreneur, digital marketing is one of the ways that would help you to do well. Then the next thing is that you get better global visibility. You know, it's unfortunate or fortunate, I don't know how you would see it, is that Zimbabwe is 15 million people. For simple mathematics, let's say we have 15 million people in Zimbabwe, and Africa is about 1.2 billion people. What that means is that Zimbabwe is less than 2% of Africa. So if you are going to be a billionaire in Zimbabwe, you will need to earn your money from outside Zimbabwe, because for you to be a billionaire in Zimbabwe, you need to collect around $1,000 dollars from everybody in Zimbabwe, and that's a very difficult task. And if you're going to be a billionaire in this country, you will need to be able to earn your money from other countries outside Zimbabwe. So if you're running a business or a consultant or you offer a service, your best bet is to become internationally visible or globally visible, so that you start earning money from the US, money from the UK, money from Mozambique, money from South Africa. And when we gather all those clients and customers and money you're earning, then you may be able to become a billionaire. And if you look for the only billionaire that he said we have in Zimbabwe, is somebody who has businesses in many places, not just in Zimbabwe. So global visibility is also something that digital marketing offers you the opportunity to do. Then the last thing is that you are able to work and earn money online. There is unemployment over 60% in Africa. Some people give bigger numbers than that, and it's really bad when it's personal, that you are not earning a job, you don't have a job, and it's tough. If you're able to market yourself digitally, that is personal branding digitally, you are able to get jobs that pay you real money online. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about this. How do we get the jobs and stuff like that? And I'll just share one tip here. One of the ways to get jobs internationally is to show yourself as an expert online. And my best platform for doing that is on LinkedIn. So if you show yourself as an expert for what you do on LinkedIn, you get people in different countries seeing that you're able to do something. You start getting inquiries and you start offering particularly services that you can do remotely. So this is why I think digital marketing is very relevant in Zimbabwe, and it can bring a difference that your business needs and your life needs. One more time, if you like this video and you think it's something that you want to keep hearing about, please subscribe in the button below so that you can keep hearing this. Thank you.
Well, I hope that you found that useful. For me, there were some very, very important messages that came out of that. One is really, what is marketing? It's the idea of introducing your company, it's introducing your product. But then you have to consider what actually is your goal. Why are you engaging with digital marketing? Is it something that you see as being something really important in raising your brand awareness? Or is it an actual way that you're improving and increasing your sales? And then how do you measure that? How do you actually measure the impact that an investment that you put into, whether it's your time or money, into a social marketing campaign? How do you measure the impact? Can you actually come up with a series of metrics that mean something to you, that you can keep a regular eye on in terms of assessing and reassessing what is being achieved? And obviously, for somebody who's involved in brand awareness, number of followers on a Facebook page is really important. For somebody who is actually actively selling products digitally, the number of products that are being sold is going to be a key metric. So always be aware of that. As our friend has said, there's one really key important thing about digital social marketing, which is that it can start at free. Some of the tools that we have available are available at no cost, other than your own time and the data that you need to access in terms of Wi-Fi or cellular data. So there's always going to be a small cost which you need to budget. But the actual services, such as a business page on Facebook, can start at free. But be aware that as your business grows, as your campaign becomes more articulate, that the requirements that you're going to have are going to be developing further. You'll be looking for more functionality, and that is the point when you can start looking at the need for an actual budget to give you access to the tools that you need to enable you to fulfill what your goals are in terms of a social media campaign. Geographical focus is going to be important to your business. You will already have defined what your potential market is. Is it a local market? Is it a national market? Is it an international market? And so these are going to be elements about how you actually consider your social media campaign or your marketing plan in general. Who do you need to talk to? How do you need to reach out to people? What are the main connections that you need? And very, very based in reality is this idea of what money is available in the market that you're working in. What scale can you achieve within your business, both as a startup or as something that's growing and developing? And is, for example, reaching out to the diaspora, which goes globally from Africa, whether it's Europe, whether it's America, how can you reach out to those groups? One advantage as well is with digital marketing is the potential for linking into digital money, systems like M-Pesa. And finally, LinkedIn is an important tool. And having a LinkedIn profile can be something where you can improve your own brand and the brand of your company so that you become more attractive to large-scale customers like supermarkets, for example, but also become people within the finance industry become aware of your company. So do use the opportunity to look at LinkedIn. And if you haven't got a profile, do consider maybe starting one. We have been looking at a number of other videos that we thought would be useful for you. And obviously you do a simple Google search and there are hundreds of videos about marketing, not just about digital marketing, but about face-to-face marketing as well. And these are 6 short videos that we came up with just as we were browsing. There's plenty more to look at. I'm not going to show these today, but when you download this presentation deck as a PDF, the links to all these videos are actually embedded in them. So you'll be able to go to them directly. And as I say, some of these videos are about digital marketing. Some are about commodities. So for example, what is the best way to actually, if you are a maize farmer, for example, and I've got a lot of maize to sell, how do you manage that? And through to the idea that I'm a vegetable producer, and my market is going to be hotels and restaurants. And we know there's a lot of interest within this community about those sorts of issues. How do I manage those relationships? How do I market the fact that I've got some really good quality, high quality vegetables and fruits, or maybe dairy or meat that I want to be able to sell to restaurants, hotels, and develop a core client base in that way? So please do have a look at these videos. And this, as I say, is just the tip of the iceberg. So please do take some time to explore other videos as well. So back to the module, entrepreneurship in agribusiness. What we're asking you this week and what we're introducing you to this week is obviously the module on marketing and how you can develop a marketing plan. The first step, as always on this course, is to look at the video. It's there on the platform. I'm not going to play it now. Take your time. You can stream this or download this, okay? So it will make everything clear. We will then ask you to use a tool that we call positioning strategies. And what we really want you to do is be able to identify how you as a company stand out from everybody else. And obviously there is a linkage here to what you have defined as being your unique value proposition. What is special about your company? What is special about the product or services that you sell or hope to sell? What about branding and packaging? And also about the core element of your business, which is the people in the business. You as an owner and as an entrepreneur, but also for the staff team that you build around you, whether it's business partners, whether it's employees. And so these 4 areas are really, really important to be able to identify how you can then start marketing your business and your product and your services. This is a downloadable tool on the AMI platform. And so please do download this, and then you can type in your own notes to help you identify what is so special about your own product. What is the quality of the service that you offer? Is your product always available? Do you have rapid delivery times or response times? What about the branding and packaging? Is it unique? Does it stand out from the competition? Are there benefits in terms of sustainability in the way that you use packaging? Is it packaging that is shelf stable and so gives long life to the product that you're developing? And personnel. Do personnel make your customers' experience memorable? Do you respond quickly? Are you able to build that really, really important relationship with your stakeholders? And remember, stakeholders, as you already know, include the people who provide you with products and services to help you run your business, including your own supply chain or value chain. It's about developing your own product, and it's about the stakeholders who you actually sell to, your customers, but also to the people who provide business services to you, whether it's investors, whether it's package suppliers, and so on. So please do think through these 4 issues and reflect on your unique value proposition, look at your customer markets, and identify then what really makes your business stand out in terms of product, service, branding and packaging, and personnel. We would then ask you to complete an activity within the module. Obviously, we always ask you to complete a short quiz in the course, just to really help you reflect on your learning. And then we ask you to complete an activity, which is fundamentally what you will ultimately use to develop your business plan. So this will be a core element of your business plan when you come to bringing everything together. And the activity this week is to complete the positioning strategies tool, which we've already mentioned, but also then to look at the market research and segmentation tool. So I've already talked about the positioning strategies document. I don't need to go to that one again, unless you have some questions for us. But in terms of, in terms of the segmentation tool, this is a tool that you will already recognize. It's something that you would have downloaded and started completing in the module on Identify Your Market. And so you will have already started working on this document and completing your market sizing, your market research questions. You will have already had the data that you will have sourced from your potential customers, whether that's individual customers or supermarket chains, for example. But what we would now ask you to do is to complete 2 further segments of this document. And those documents are the key sub-segments and positioning strategy. So we ask you to open your market research and segmentation template, the one that you've already been working on. If you haven't already downloaded this and started inputting data, please go back to the marketing module, and the document is downloadable at that point. Once your document is opened, please open the positioning tab. And for each of your market segments, you need to define the products of interest and so on. So this is a document that you need to complete. And this is based on your unique value proposition, obviously, where you can actually start stating what are the key meaningful differences about your product and where it fits into your market. Once you've done that, you need to really consider about your marketing plan. How actually are you going to make sure that people are aware of your product, whether it's a direct food stuff or whether it's a service supporting other people within the agro-food sector. And this all ties together within the previous work that you've already done. And what you need to be doing is you need to be looking at which segment you're working in. You need to be looking at what your target is. Who are you actually trying to reach out to? Is it a supermarket who you wish to are hopeful that will carry your product? Is it an exporter who you wish to sell to? Is it a local market that you want to be able to sell through? Is it something around a service that you provide, and so you're wanting to access farmers, for example, or other parts of the agri-food sector in terms of logistics, IT, digital services, and so on? You will already have worked out what your channel is. How do you actually get this to people? But you need to be identifying what your tactic, activity, or campaign is going to be. How are you going to share your message with your potential customers? How are you actually going to get that out to people? So we've already talked about a few ways there. Digital marketing is definitely part of this mix, particularly at this moment in time, as we've already recognized because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Social and digital marketing is a key element of this. But there are other ways as well. And you need to think about this. And it can be as simple as identifying a list of potential people and reaching out to them by email or telephone, and starting conversations and starting building the relationships that you need with your potential market. Do think about budgets. Everything costs. And I know I've said that digital marketing can be free, but please do remember, if you want, for example, to develop a business page on Facebook, you still need access to data. You still need access to time to enable you to sit down and do that piece of work. And work out what your metrics are. What is your goal? Is it brand awareness? In other words, the number of people who like your page? Or is it that you're actually trying to reach a particular audience and those the subsection that you want to follow your page? Or is it about the number of sales that you're making? So do think very clearly about the metrics so that you can set yourself goals, so that you can actually monitor your success against the goals that you set for yourself and your company. And what we do provide within this is a calendar. And this part, we can call it Gantt charts. I love Gantt charts. I think they're one of the simplest and most effective tools available. And what we want you to do here is basically to come up with several targets in terms of a marketing plan. We should never just have one marketing plan. It has to be differentiated. And then come up with a calendar of activity so that you know when you are going to be doing a particular activity and being able to link that to the goals and impacts. And all you do with this is, if you have a segment or a subsegment that you want to reach, that you've identified a target, for example, I'm going to set up a Facebook page for my business. And then you can actually say, which month am I going to do that in? I'm going to do it in January. And then you're going to say, I'm going to reassess that. I'm going to look at how that's doing. And that could be a weekly or a bi-monthly activity. So we're asking you to identify over the course of your first year, what are your key marketing goals? And that has to be linked to what your product is, what your unique value proposition is, and who your customer base is, identifying how you will reach out to those people, whether it's in person, whether it's by mail, email, telephone calls, or social marketing. And then being very clear about what the tasks are that you need to do within those and when across the year you will need to do those. So you come up with an operations plan for marketing, a plan of activity that you can identify and that you can then act upon. As I say, this is a really important part of your business plan, and the data that you develop within this section, you will follow through into your final business plan when we come to that stage. That's a lot of talking from me. I hope I haven't bored you. I hope that I've been clear. Please do come with some questions and we can answer those. But what I want to do now is share a short video with you from one of our dear friends, Rita Najemba in Uganda. And Rita is somebody who has gone through the entrepreneurship and agribusiness course. And she's also taken other opportunities that have come her way, seized them to enable her to develop her own skill base, to enable her to grow and develop her thriving business, which is Oikos Youth White Meat Suppliers in Uganda.
My name is Najemba Rita Lutaya from Uganda, Kampala, East Africa. I joined the Agripreneur Alliance 2 years back, and they took me through the training of business model canvas. I learned many things. I learned how to get a market, how to register your business, how to get a vision for your business, vision, mission, and I'm privileged that after the training, I won some good money because I was the best. And since then, I joined other I started the training. I'm a trainer. I have a demonstration farm in Ichampi, Simokono, one of the districts in Uganda. I go to universities and train, but after I got that privilege, because they exposed me, Agri-Entrepreneur Alliance exposed me to the world. So I'm here to say thank you very much to the Agri-Entrepreneur Alliance, because my life did not remain the same. Another thing I got after the training, I got skills, people skills, I got communication skills, I applied. There is African Young Entrepreneur meeting every year, which I got an opportunity to represent East Africa in Ghana. I joined that last year. Last year I was able also to go to Germany, and I got a training in piggery production, because they had exposed me to different people. They had networked me to different people. Today I'm strong and my project is growing. I'm not the same again, and I want to encourage you people, please go through this training. Your lives will not remain the same. Thank you very much.
So I hope that slide was, the short video was useful. I think one of the key things for me in terms of Rita's work is how she has in part diversified her activities, how she has had a clear idea about what her core business is, which is the production of pigs, and the slaughter of the animals so that she can provide high quality meat to the markets within her locality, and that includes both pork joints, but also through to hotels and restaurants in the area as well. But she's also then developed so that she's starting to provide training services across the area, and she's also seized opportunities to enable her to develop her own learning as well. And she did mention briefly there that she spent 3 months in Germany earlier this year, which enabled her to really take an internship working on a European style pig farm, which obviously is highly technological, high volume, quite intensive production of pork, but enables her to take away ideas from that she can then bring into her home location in Mukono in Uganda, to actually see how she can further develop and refine her own business. And in particular, what her ambition is in terms of her scaling process of her business is to develop a hygienic abattoir which can actually start producing the meat for sale in high quality circumstances, which obviously is both better for the animals in terms of the slaughter process, but also in terms of the butchery and then the packaging of the product, which then goes to the restaurants and hotels. So thanks very much for that, Rita. It was really useful, I think, and thank you so much for the support that you've provided to us and for the kind words. What we want to do now is we've just got 15-20 minutes, and I know that there is a lot of questions coming through. And I believe that there is a question from one of our colleagues called Jackson, and I'm going to see if I can invite him onto the call. He's muted at the moment. Jackson, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, Jackson.
Yes, Stephen Carr.
How are you today?
Yes, hello. I'm fine, sir.
Good. Do you have a question or would you like to say something?
Yes. The question is that I need more clarification on the tactics, rather the campaigns. What were you trying to mean by in this column, and even the activities, orientation of the activities in the last column? I didn't get you very well. I need some clarification in there.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, that's really useful. That's really useful, Jackson. Let me just put you on some mute again, if you don't mind. And what I will try to answer Jackson's question by going back to the previous slide. We will just see if we can get there. So what we have is two elements to actually complete in terms of the tool and the activities for this week. And what we actually try to do is make sure that it's clear what our expectation is. So I've just briefly again, you will already have started completing your market research and segmentation templates. And this is a document that you will have started working with in the marketing, in the Identify Your Market module, which was about 3 weeks ago. And you will have already completed market sizing, market research question, customer data, and data analysis. So these will be elements that you've already completed. So what we're asking you to do today is work out what the next step is. And so the key subsegments and positioning strategy. So we're really asking you to work through the more detail about what exactly is your product, who's your customer data, what is the key meaningful difference that your product brings to the market compared to other people's. And obviously this is in part a strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threat analysis, which you will have already completed in identifying your market. But then a key point here is, how do you position your product? Is it something that is higher quality? Is it something that provides a better service? Does your company provide a product which has got innate strengths compared to, or differences compared to your competitors? So for example, is your product created sustainably with an awareness of the impact that you have in your production process on the environment? Is your product something which really takes into account the social needs of your stakeholders? So for example, are you contributing to reducing poverty or the economic empowerment of women within communities? Are you looking at something which has got a high nutrient density with a long shelf life, which is something that people can access readily and easily, which can then actually identify, provide good quality nutrition, possibly segmented? Is this a product for children, for women? Is it a product for a general family group? So that you start identifying what you are trying to do here. And once you know what your key difference is, or what the strength element that you want to demonstrate is, that's when we start talking about channels. And that's then when you start coming up with your plan of action about how you actually reach out to those different segmented groups that you've talked about, highlighting the quality and differential of your product or service, and being able to clearly say, I'm going to run a campaign on reaching out, for example, to my customer base. This is the budget that I have. I'm going to measure my impact by, and you come up with some metrics, and then you identify the actions across the year that you need to do. I hope that answers your question. Jackson, if you want to come back to me by email, you're more than welcome to, as anybody else can.
Maybe I can add a couple of points, Jackson, as I do happen to know a little bit about your business, that your main product is high quality jams. A key part of your tactics is to really identify the biggest customers. So your biggest customers are certainly going to be hotels and restaurants, but I would part of the tactics should be to identify the big hotel chains, you know, like the K hotels and etc. and other chains in Uganda, and really work out a strategy of how you're going to tackle that market and really get your products into there, because that will increase your sales dramatically. So this is just one example of some of the tactics you should be using.
If I can just add to that as well, Anne, one of the videos that we shared the link of that I mentioned earlier is by a Canadian guy. He calls himself the Urban Farmer, and he is clear about how he goes about selling directly to restaurants and hotels. He obviously grows vegetables, doesn't make jam, but some of the principles are the same and some of the contact methodologies are the same as well. So I would suggest that you have a look at that video once you download the PDF.
Okay, well, while you're thinking about a few more questions, we did have a couple of questions last week that maybe we didn't have time to follow to answer completely. And one was related to the activity chart, the Gantt chart that we've been discussing today. And the question was, how can we register the activities week by week? So this is very simple. Instead of month by month, you know, if you want your plan to be, if it needs to be that detailed, you can just easily modify the Excel sheet to have a much more detailed week by week activity plan. So in that case, you would basically have two: one very detailed week by week activities, and then one more month by month, where you see an overview of the different activities you need to do. Then we also had a question about passion. And, you know, what if your market research shows you that it takes you into a direction which is not really in your passion? And I think Rita's a good example of this, because I think you were able to see from her video that her passion is actually training. And but you know, she has set up a thriving pig business, and not only selling, she's got a very interesting segmentation of a market, because she sells the high-end butchered cuts to hotels and restaurants. She sells the whole pigs mainly to pork butchers and pork joints. And then all the offcuts she sells to animal shelters and pet shops. And she's also selling manure. So she's really segmented her market very, very nicely, so that, you know, everything has a customer and everything is sold. Together with her brother, she's also started starting up soon a pork restaurant where she'll be able to sell not only our pork, but sell the herbs that she produces. So, you know, I think she's got a pork business, which is the, you know, really the steady part of it, but she's managing to catch her passion, which is in training. So this is just an example of how you can combine the two. Maybe just also to say a few comments again about the social media marketing, you know, just to stress what Stephen said. Mostly when we're in our personal life, social media, using social media, and we're looking at likes and we're looking for followers. Now, this is important if you are wanting brand awareness of your product, but if you're really trying to get sales, it's not likes and followers that is important. You want to be sure that your key customers are engaged with you, and you need to look at very carefully at what are the platforms that your key customers are using. It could be LinkedIn, as suggested in the video, but it might be another platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. So, and don't forget WhatsApp. This is a very, very powerful and very low cost way of keeping in touch with your key customers. So really be aware of your strategy, what you want to do in your social media, your targets, and choose the appropriate platform. So I think that is all the questions for now. Anybody else got a question that they want to ask? Okay. Jackson is also asking how I can change followers into real and occasional customers. Well, yeah, this is all part of your social marketing strategy. You know, if you've already got followers, well, that's great, because effectively you have the potential to turn them into customers if they're in the right sector. So there, as I say, you need to really look at what is the platform that your customers are using, and then through understanding their real needs, what problem does your customer have, and how your product can solve their problem. For example, in the case of your business, Jackson, what's the problem that customers have in hotels? The quality of the jam is really lousy today in many cases, and you can come along with really, you know, high quality, very tasty jams, and you know, this will increase the quality of your of the breakfast tables, for example, at your customers. So I think it's really by looking at their needs, comes back to your unique selling proposition and solving the customer's problem.
We have a question from Fesu has come in, and Fesu's asked about LinkedIn and what kind of information we can use to market our products. And I suppose it goes back to something that Anne has just alluded to as well, which is make sure that you align your message with the platform that you choose to use. So LinkedIn is very much about brand awareness, both in terms of having an individual LinkedIn page, which is your own personal brand, but also then you can have a brand page for your business. And we hype, please have a look at the Agripreneurship Alliance on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is very much about brand awareness. If you're wanting to market your products, you need to make sure that you align yourself with the right platform for that. And in part, that depends upon what your market is. So, for example, if it's a small local market, WhatsApp can be a really powerful platform for that purpose. If you're looking at other groups, age groups, for example, you might choose to look at a different platform such as Instagram, WeChat, or something like this. So it's up to you to identify what, as part of your marketing plan, what is your product, what differentiates it, who is going to buy it, what is the best way to reach out to those people, and if it is social media, which platform are those people on, so that you can utilize that as your approach.
And another important thing is you need to adjust the language. The language in LinkedIn is rather different from Twitter, for example. So LinkedIn is much more of a business language, more formal, whereas Twitter is more chatty, more informal. And so it's also very important to just not to copy paste your message from one platform to another, but really think about who is following this particular platform and you know, what their mindset and their language is. Then we have a question from Oyewole about how does you access the previous training. Well, we have been regularly posting the links for the recordings of the webinars plus the presentations, but we will repost that this afternoon, including the link from today's recording and the presentation as a PDF. So we will post that on the community wall of the training platform, which you should all have access to, and also in the WhatsApp group. And I will add to that a document which gives you the links to all the previous recordings.
Wilson Chalinga has asked about how can I get feedback from my customers on their response to my product? And obviously there's a whole range of different ways that you can get customer feedback. And again, it depends on the approach that you take based upon who your customers are and what your product is. But obviously there are a whole variety of approaches, but key is the idea of relationships. Talk to people, get immediate feedback from people. You can go down routes of setting up sample groups and trying out focus groups in terms of people testing your products at one time. You can obviously send out surveys to people as well who you know are receiving your and using your products. But be aware that different approaches have got different strengths and weaknesses. So we know, for example, if you send out an email survey, only 10% at that of people are going to respond. If you host a focus group, that can be where you're actually bringing a group of people together to sample your product at the same time, and you're asking them to try it and ask questions of them. There is obviously an issue in that around time and expense, because people will need support to enable their engagement with you. And direct conversations are obviously a very key informal way of getting some feedback from people directly. So think about what your product is, what information, who your customers are, and what is the best way to elicit the feedback that you really do need to enable you to make sure that your product is meeting people's needs and expectations.
And I would really encourage you to have a structured questionnaire so that you can capture the data, because this is so valuable to capture it and record it so that you can come back to it later. And last week we saw an example questionnaire that the Trident Fish Farm used. And so you can adapt this type of questionnaire to your own business and use this systematically. So as Stephen said, this can either be through online or face-to-face with customers. It depends a little bit on your business.
This might possibly be our last question that we're going to answer live. Obviously, we will collate all of the questions that we get to make sure that we provide some answers to those. But Isaac Joshua asks, how can you make a marketing plan for services provided via mobile apps or websites? And again, it's very clear about what steps do you need to do. What is your product and service? Who is your customer? What is the best way of reaching out to them? And once you've identified, for example, I need to reach out to my customers through a website, you need to, the action steps that you need to do are, how do you create a website? What is the best name for the website that will engage with your particular audience? What is the design of the website that you need so that it is both easily accessible to people who are using a mobile phone, for example, or who have limited access to data? Is it an attractive design for the audience or the customer base that you want to talk to? And then it's a case of, once you've developed and launched your website, how often do you monitor the metrics that you've identified? Number of people visiting, number of people who are purchasing through your website, what is the cost of the website that you've developed compared to the income that is coming through to you through that website. So there are clear metrics that you can develop on a website, or for that matter through applications, on how to go through the process of marketing online. But just remember, key factors: what is your product? Who are your customers? What is the best way of reaching out to them? And then you break down the activities that you need to do in a step-by-step process across the year.
Just one last question from Stephanie. What's the last date of sending the business plan? The last date will be the 30th of September, and we'll be talking more next week about exactly how to submit the business plan.
So to finish, first of all, thank you to everybody who's joined us today. It's fantastic that people are still wanting to engage with this and are still seeing the entrepreneurship and agribusiness course of something that's bringing additional value and support to your businesses as you develop and grow them. We will, as always, be sharing a link to the recording of this video, of this webinar with you, and this will be shared both through GoGetters and through the course platform,
and WhatsApp,
and through the WhatsApp group. Your tasks for this week are to work through the activities that we've been discussing. So ensuring that your positioning strategies tool is completed, and that you work on the market research and segmentation template with a particular focus on the actions that you need to do to plan your marketing strategy. Please continue to engage with us on the WhatsApp group, as well as the community wall on the course platform, and do reach out to us if you have any questions. And what I will add to this is, because we're talking about marketing and brand awareness, please do have a look at the Agripreneurship Alliance website at theagripreneur.org. And if you wish, have a look at us on LinkedIn, and also on Instagram, and also on Facebook. Now, our goal for our digital marketing strategy is clearly about brand awareness. That's what we try to do through our social media networks. So we use it as a platform to share information about competitions, events, opportunities that may interest entrepreneurs across Africa, as well as providing updates on the type of work that we're actively engaged in as the Agripreneurship Alliance. So please do take a look at that. And I will say as well, if you want to find me at Stephen Carr on LinkedIn, please do so. Yeah. And the last thing I want to say is that we will see you at next week's webinar on revenue modeling, financial model, and cost structure. This is a really fundamental webinar, and it's a really fundamental part of the business plan. And my colleague here, Anne, will be leading that session and taking you through the tools that you need to use to enable you to come up with a very accurate, detailed financial plan for your business. So thank you very much for your time. We'll send the links out to this webinar and the PDF deck. Please reach out if you've got any questions, and thank you so much for spending this last hour with us. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you to you.
All the best.
Bye. All the best.